The duo of Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins is one that hasn't been discussed enough, and there's a good reason why I'm bringing it up now. Looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, the offense has certainly improved since the return of Hollywood Brown. However, two players that haven't received as much attention are Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins. Travis Kelce hasn't been talked about as much this season because, quite frankly, he hasn't quite had the same regular season performances we're used to seeing from him. At 33 years old, it's unrealistic to expect him to keep putting up the same huge numbers year after year. That being said, Kelsey is still a top tier player and remains an absolute weapon. We all know he steps up when it matters, especially in the playoffs. He thrives in big moments, and there's no doubt that when the postseason arrives, Kelsey will deliver as usual. But now add DeAndre Hopkins to the equation. While Travis Kelsey is certainly hungry to win, Hopkins has an extra level of motivation because he's still chasing his first Super Bowl ring. That hunger, combined with his immense talent, is going to make Hopkins an even more dangerous player in the playoffs. You can bet that Hopkins will give it everything he's got in this postseason run, bringing even more firepower to the Chiefs' offense. DeAndre Hopkins is going to put everything he has into this playoff run. Playing for his first Super Bowl ring, especially towards the end of his career, gives him an extra layer of motivation. That drive to finally win it all will push him to give his best performance. But what makes this duo of Hopkins and Kelsey so interesting isn't just their individual skills, it's how they complement each other on the field. I'm choosing to highlight Hopkins and Kelsey as a duo, rather than pairing Kelsey with Patrick Mahomes, or other combinations like Kelsey and Hollywood Brown, because they share a similar role in the offense. Both Hopkins and Kelsey excel in the short to intermediate routes. They're the types of players who find those soft spots in the defense, catching quick 5-yard passes and turning them into bigger gains. This is how both of them operate, and together, they can keep defenses on their toes with their ability to move the chains efficiently. Now, throw in the speed of players like Worthy and Hollywood Brown, and the Chiefs' offense becomes even more unpredictable. Defenses will have their hands full trying to cover all these threats. You've got Hopkins and Kelsey working in the short and intermediate range, while Worthy and Hollywood stretch the field with deep routes. On top of that, Mahomes and Andy Reid are masters at drawing up creative plays. With all these weapons on the field, the Chiefs' playoff offense is going to be a nightmare for opposing defenses. It's going to be an exciting postseason, with a lot of matchups for teams to worry about. The Chiefs' upcoming playoff run is looking exciting, and I can definitely see them coming out strong against the Houston Texans. I imagine them getting an early lead and making a statement by dominating the game. Remember, Patrick Mahomes was snubbed from the Pro Bowl this year, and while I think he deserved a spot, it might just fuel his fire even more. He didn't get any All-Pro votes either, and that probably stings a bit. But instead of letting it get to him, I believe it will motivate him to perform even better. Mahomes has had a lot on his plate this season, and losing his top receivers, wide receiver 1 and 2, before and early in the season made things even more difficult. Despite that, Mahomes and the Chiefs have managed to stay competitive and put together a solid season. The fact that they've overcome so many challenges and are now healthy and ready for the playoffs shows just how much they deserve to be in the hunt for a championship. It's hard to imagine any team stopping them right now. With Hopkins and Kelsey dominating the short to intermediate routes, and Worthy and Hollywood Brown stretching the field with deep balls, this offense has so many ways to strike. The Chiefs' attack is as dangerous as it gets, and it will be tough for any defense to slow them down. The playoffs are shaping up to be incredibly exciting, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. The Houston Texans may have had a tough defense against the Chargers, but they won't be able to replicate that success against the Chiefs. First of all, playing in a dome is one thing, but playing in the freezing cold at Arrowhead Stadium is a completely different challenge. The Chiefs are used to it, and it won't bother them at all. But for a team like the Texans, who aren't used to those conditions, it's going to rattle them. CJ Stroud and the rest of the Texans are going to feel the pressure, and it's going to be hard for them to keep their composure. Arrowhead is one of the toughest places to play, especially in the playoffs. The noise, the intensity, and the freezing cold all create a hostile environment for any team that steps onto that field. For Stroud, still a young quarterback, the pressure is going to be overwhelming. He's likely going to make mistakes, and I wouldn't be surprised if he throws multiple interceptions just like other quarterbacks have in the past. With the Chiefs' defense taking advantage of those mistakes, I predict that the Texans will struggle in Arrowhead and that the Chiefs will dominate the game. Looking ahead, I'm predicting that the Chiefs will face the Baltimore Ravens in the next round. While the Ravens are a tough matchup, especially with Derrick Henry in the backfield, I still believe the Chiefs have what it takes to win. They match up well against Baltimore, and with their playoff experience and powerful offense, I think the Chiefs will come out on top and secure a win against the Ravens. It won't be easy, but I believe the Chiefs are more than capable of taking care of business. Looking ahead, I'm predicting that the Chiefs will make it to the Super Bowl and likely come out on top against the Detroit Lions. This offense is just too scary right now. What makes it even more dangerous is the fact that nobody has full film on this group yet. The Chiefs' offense was dealing with injuries for a significant portion of the season, so no one has seen what it looks like when Hollywood Brown, Worthy, Kelce, and Hopkins are all on the field together at the same time. That's a major advantage for the Chiefs. It's hard to imagine any team being able to stop this offense. The only real threat to their success would be an injury, but I don't even want to put that energy out there. The Chiefs have too much talent and depth for anyone to handle. The combination of Hopkins and Kelce will be explosive in the playoffs, while Worthy and Hollywood will continue to stretch the field with their speed. It's going to be an offense that comes at opponents from every angle, and no team is going to have the answers for it. The Chiefs are going to be nearly impossible to stop, and when they hit full stride, they will be a force that other teams simply can't contend with. It's going to be a dominant run for Kansas City, and I see them walking away with another championship.